Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for March 2024 Her Story Award. My name is Adia Lancaster, and I will be your MC this evening. You know, it is always a pleasure to see each and every one of you join us in this incredible event to honor and recognize some amazing women in our community. It never fails to see how many incredible women that we get to honor. It just seems like there are an abundance of them. And what really hits me the most is that these women have overcome insurmountable challenges in their life that have actually fueled them to create positive impacts, changes in other people's lives. And that's what we are celebrating tonight. We are celebrating these women's achievements, not only for their external goals that they have achieved, but also for their incredible heart in just continuing to pursue making a difference in this world, creating a more peaceful and more loving world. I'm so happy to be a part of this event, as always. And to give you a little bit more background about Women's Federation for World Peace and this project, Her Story under Global Women's Peace Network, I would like to introduce the president of Women's Federation for World Peace USA, Ms. Kayleigh Moffitt, to the virtual stage. Please welcome Kayleigh Moffitt to the stage.
Thank you, Adia, and good evening, everybody. You know, this particular Her Story for this month is special because this week we celebrated International Women's Day, which is celebrated all over the world. And it's not just us who are celebrating women and the impact that they're making, but the whole world did this week. And starting on Monday, the United Nations is hosting its Commission on the Status of Women, which our organization is always involved in and hosts a parallel event. And we meet so many wonderful women there. So those of you who are being honored today, it's like a special experience because you are being lifted up on the international stage, which you so very much deserve. Adia, thank you so much for the way that you always introduce this program because you really bring to the forefront the significance of this program. We've done a lot of them, but I agree with Adia that every time our hearts are just totally inspired by the women that we're meeting, and there are so many of them. The founder of our organization is Dr. Hak Jahan Moon, and she is one of the most amazing women leaders that I hope all of you will get to know a little bit more about. For me, she's really a personal role model. And I have with me her memoir here. This is her memoir called The Mother of Peace. And in it, she has a whole section that's devoted to the role of women, both in the family and in society. And in particular, she says that she founded our organization, Women's Federation, as a movement to awaken women to their true value and to help them develop themselves in partnership with men. And what I love about Mother Moon's approach to women leadership is that there's really no competition between men and women because we have unique skills that are ours alone that are desperately needed in this time. So today's program is all about honoring those unique touches of women leadership and the heart of women and the love of women and the ability to bring people together, which I know all of the women we're honoring today are spectacular examples of that. So we are so grateful to meet those that we're honoring today and thankful for the friends and the family and the supporters who are here to cheer on these amazing women. This project is particularly sponsored by our Global Women's Peace Network, which is our network of connecting women leaders all over the United States, pioneering a new way to lead, to be able to provide this healing touch to the world, which I think we all can agree is something that we are all longing for at this time. So I'm so very much looking forward to the program today, to honoring each of you, to share your story. You know, this is called the Her Story Award. We've heard a lot about history, a lot of amazing men who have contributed to the betterment of our world. But today is about telling the stories of women who have often been overlooked. Although they don't need the, glorification, they continue to do the work they're going to do. But today we really want to highlight it. So thank you so much for those who were able to nominate these amazing women, and I'm looking forward to hearing their stories. And Adia, I'll pass it back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kaylee. All right, let's get started with our first awardee for this evening. Her name is Laura Lopez. She is a prosecutor for Cook County State's Attorney's Office. Assistant State's Attorney Laura Lopez is a living testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of education. Born in Mexico, Laura's journey to success was marked by adversity from an early age. Surviving a traumatic childhood event, she shouldered immense responsibilities to support her family as they sought refuge in the United States. Despite facing systemic barriers and financial constraints, her unwavering determination propelled her forward. She defied expectations, excelling academically and becoming the first in her family to attend college. Through scholarships and sheer perseverance, she earned her bachelor's degree with honors, but also dedicated herself to uplifting others, particularly marginalized students navigating the college application process. Today, she is a seasoned prosecutor with over 14 years of experience in public service. Laura actively engages in community initiatives and mentors at-risk youth, inspiring them to overcome adversity and pursue their dreams. She also plans to run for Cook County Judge in 2026. Now, before I bring up this amazing woman, I'd first like to introduce you to her nominator, Marina Acevedo, to just say a few words about how they met and why she nominated Laura for this incredible award. Marina?
Thank you so much. And if you can see, we're having a watch party. We're endorsing and Ruth Eva is here with me. Okay. So good evening, everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to be a member of the Women's Federation for World Peace. And congratulations to all the awardees, especially to Laura. I am the CEO of the Chicago Hispanic Community for Peace, and I also work as a victim advocate where I met Laura in the court. I saw her kindness, generosity, and honesty in dealing with all the special cases. And I met also her wonderful husband. I saw she has a beautiful family. She's a wonderful daughter, a wonderful mother, a great leader, and really a committed public servant. So at this point, I've been really so proud to present and to nominate her story that really an embodiment of every American dream. She is a really successful story that every immigrant will really want to come to America to see how Laura succeeded and how she made it to live here as an exemplary citizen of the United States of America. So without further ado, let's welcome the pride of Illinois, our future judge of the Cook County, Laura Lopez.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Marina. Well, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you, everyone, for this wonderful opportunity and the nomination and this award. I really am hoping that I am making my immigrant community proud every day. That is what I set out to do. I really started my career in public service to give back to the community. That was my goal when I started. That is my goal today, and that is my goal driving me forward. I was born in Mexico, and I do think that against many, many odds, I have become a successful legal professional. I am fighting injustice. I'm driven by the fight against injustice and giving back to the community because not everyone has the opportunities I've been given in our community, and it would be wonderful to uplift them as much as we can. When I was 4 years old, my mother and I did survive a very brutal attack from my father in Mexico, and immediately I knew she would need some help. I had to become strong and independent for her. And she was very injured. She was able to get my sister and I to safety. And a few weeks later, we fled to the United States with the help of our family who were already here in Chicago. And that whole family community is really what drives me going forward. So I was 5 years old. Here I am learning the language, helping my mother who didn't know anything about this country. She was very young. She had two girls to help get through life. And I took on a lot of responsibilities, and it wasn't easy, but those responsibilities really taught me a lot about life. They taught me a lot about character, about caring for others. They taught me about tenacity and endurance and really just drive to succeed, to get stability, to set safety as a standard of life for us and hopefully for those around us who come from similar backgrounds. So as a young child, I really generally thrived in school, but life was hard at home, right? There was a lot to do, helping mom, taking care of a younger sister. Mom worked very hard, difficult factory job her whole life. And so I was really just driven by a lot of that. And at some point, the dynamic in the family changed a little bit. Things got harder. Mom was not able to take care of everyone in the same way. I started to make some bad choices, as is common, right, for our Black and Brown communities. We're not always surrounded by the best of influences. So I found myself kind of at a crossroads, at that age. I could either continue to follow this path of maybe running the streets, not doing the best in school, taking some bad guidance from people, or I could get back on track and take my family's teachings and values and get myself oriented. So I did have an opportunity to move with a relative to the suburbs of Chicago, which were much safer, much more affluent, and I had better opportunities. And I thank my mom every day for having the strength to let me go. Right, I have two littles, and I can't imagine. So in high school, however, when I got there, the white counselors were not so impressed by this Hispanic student with 1 year of bad grading. And they said, Laura, all you need to do as a Hispanic student is graduate without getting pregnant. So to me, that was a big drive to succeed and to show them who I really was. And I did. I graduated high school at the top of my class. I attended a number of sport events. I was part of clubs. I was in statewide academic competitions, succeeding, but nonetheless, the counselor was not impressed come my senior year. And she did not push me towards college. She pushed me towards the administrative jobs. And really, what did it matter? I hadn't planned on going to college. I didn't have the money for it. Who could think about that in a low-income single-parent home? But I was able to get myself noticed by a college recruiter, and thank God for that recruiter who changed my life. I got scholarships and financial aid in college, and we continued to work hard. Mom worked hard for out-of-pocket expenses. I worked on campus to pay my way, and I worked in the admission office, which was very useful because we focused on getting our enrollment up from Chicago, the suburban neighborhoods of Chicago with minority students. And in 4 years, we did increase our minority student enrollment by over 10%, which was a huge change for a small central town in Illinois. And so I was very proud of that. I'm still very focused on working and continuing that work. Marina and I are starting a curriculum for students who will come from various minority groups throughout Cook County, getting them help with applications for college, resources for scholarships, mentoring opportunities, on just even thinking about college, maybe younger in school, middle school, before they get to high school, when they can still have an opportunity to really make an impression on people, as I was able to do. I have focused my career in prosecution, again, because I want to help people on both sides of the aisle, so to speak, right? Not just the victims of crime, but also the accused. Like me, they may be at a crossroads, and this may be a good time to help them overcome what they've been enduring and the criminal activity in their life or the bad choices and mistakes they've made. That is my approach to prosecution, and to build safe and peaceful communities is really what we all want. That is a common goal for people across the world and across the various races and genders that we have. And so it's my goal to push that, to push students and over minority students to achieve, and to continue to make my community proud. And I am planning to run for judge. My motto is onward and upward, and I will keep working on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Laura. Wow, for sharing your story and just overcoming that adversity, but also using that adversity to fuel you and to propel you, like you said, onward and upward. It's so incredible. And I just know that you will continue to make a positive impact in your community, especially with those at-risk youth from those marginalized communities because they don't have those opportunities and they don't have access to those resources, like you said. And so you guys are providing that opportunity, and that is huge, right? It's huge. And it's huge to see you as a role model coming from where you came from and overcoming and just using that. It's beautiful. And I'm so glad to be honoring you, that we're honoring you tonight. So let's pull up your virtual award, which you will receive in the mail. But so this HerStory Award is proudly presented to Laura Lopez on this day, March 9th, 2024, in recognition of your exceptional dedication to public service, relentless advocacy for equality, and unwavering commitment to empowering others. We honor you as a peace leader who lives by the logic of love. And this is on behalf of both the President, Kayleigh Moffitt, and Vice President Katarina Connery. Thank you once again. Well deserved.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Beautiful. All right. It's only going to get better from here, you guys. These are all incredible women. All of these women are just beautiful spirits. So let's move on to our second awardee for this evening, Gail Perry Mason. Gail Perry Mason is a Detroit native with a remarkable journey from foster care to financial prominence, has cemented her status as a respected authority in the financial industry. Her dynamic speaking style and extensive experience have made her a sought-after speaker, addressing capacity crowds and conducting financial training sessions for major corporations like Chrysler, Ford, and General Motors. Gail's influence extends beyond the boardroom as she co-hosts a popular talk show, Building Wealth, and has made appearances on numerous national media outlets. Beyond her professional achievements, Gail is deeply committed to giving back to her community. She mentors young women in finance, spearheads financial literacy programs in Detroit schools, and serves on the boards of several local and national organizations. Her dedication has earned her numerous accolades, including the Invest in Others Lifetime Achievement Award and the Governor's Service Award for Lifetime Humanitarianism. Looking ahead, she is poised to launch the Forever 39 initiative, empowering women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s to optimize their daily lives through fitness, wine, and financial wellness. With her unwavering commitment to success and service, she continues to inspire and uplift others on their journey to prosperity. Gail will also be receiving the Being That Girl Award on March 13th in Detroit, Michigan. Before we welcome Gail to the stage, I would like to first bring up her nominator, Sabine Kwasi, to say a few words about Gail. Please welcome Sabine.
Good evening, everybody. Yeah, sorry, I'm late because the link gave me some issues. So happy to be here. Yes, Gail Perry Mason. I haven't met her personally. We only talked shortly on the phone. And yeah, it's Mr. William Gordner. I want him to speak a little bit because he knows her personally. Already her name, Gail, gave me God's amazing, inspiring lady, Gail. Her investment, what I have seen, what I have observed, reminded me actually of the motto of the co-founder of Women's Federation for World Peace, Reverend Dr. Sam Young Moon, who said, "With the heart of a parent in the shoes of a servant." This is how Gail seems to move and to invest herself into the youth and everybody she's dealing with. So I'm a little poet and I say it like this. She seems to be a special flower with a beyond broken power. If we get to know her story from beginning until now, we can only utter, wow, wow, wow. So tonight we are very blessed to meet this amazing Lady Gail, who will help us to more deeply understand that God's love will never, ever fail.
Amen. Good evening, everyone.
Yes.
It is my pleasure to be here. And when I think about Gail Perry Mason, I had to ask myself, what is a shero? So I looked it up. Webster's defines a shero as a woman admired or idolized for her courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. Also considered a heroine. This is Gail Perry Mason, my shero. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
You're ready to go.
Thank you, Sabine. First of all, William, Sabine, thank you. I can't thank you enough for even considering me for this honor, but of course I want to cry right now. I love what you said, Sabine. That's just, of course, that touched my heart, and what you said about Gail. And I'm still in awe of our judge, Laura. I'll come to Chicago and help you campaign. I am so proud of you. I'm right in Detroit, and I will be right there to help you because you are amazing. So first of all, I'm humbled, I'm honored, and I just want to say thank you so much. I just want to start with talking about being a peacemaker. I think peace and love is what makes our whole world go round. And Sabine, William, everybody on here, you could just tell that everybody is all about peace and love. But love means let obstacles vanish effortlessly. And the only way we can bring love in is with peace. It goes hand in hand. So if it wasn't for, and I know you talked about my background, about being in foster care, and I'm going to tell you, because of God's love and because of love is the reason that I can even talk today. I can even walk today. I can even do anything. I was left at a hospital in Detroit called Women's Hospital years ago, of course, but I was just left there, and my biological mother said she didn't want to look at me or touch me. This is after I met her years ago. And that's what she told me the story, but I was left there. So I was made a ward of the state. So then I was labeled, and you know how they label people? I was labeled special needs and hard to place because they said I had some type of disability that wouldn't be able to walk or talk ever in my entire life. So finally, an older woman took me in her home at the age of 4. My name used to be Stephanie, and then it became Gail. And that's what she named me. And I ended up, this doctor came over her house because I was crying one day and I wasn't walking or talking by the age of 4. This doctor came over and said, you know what? This woman of peace took me in and said, just love her. And that's it. That's what the doctor prescribed. Love and a peaceful home, a peaceful environment. So only thing I remember was somebody just, doing my hair and talking to me. And of course now, look, I never shut up. I run marathons. So all I needed was that home of peace and love. So that's why I give back today. Because when people say, oh, these kids need this in Detroit or all over the world, I'm like, no, all they need is love. All they need is a place of peace. So we actually create rooms of peace and hope and love. When I go to a school, we put gratitude benches, we put pillows, we put everything down. That's one thing. So even though I teach them about financial literacy, I just use money as a tool to really teach them about love and really teach them their value and the value of each other, and then the value of love and the value of peace. So we just use money as a tool, and that's just it. But I use that to reach our youth. I have not had a vacation for the last 28 years. I take off every year, and I take a few hundred youth, and we teach them everything about how to serve, how to give back. But during this time, as I'm teaching all these kids, maybe after I'm doing it for like 15 or 20 years, I'm doing it because of the mother who raised me. She always talked about giving back and serving. And she died before I could even put on my first camp. So she passed away, and I'm doing this in her honor. Well, and then I thought about it, and I'm like, well, and I don't know if anybody on here's ever lost their mom, but it's the hardest thing in the world. So I went to go find my biological mother. So I went to go find my biological mother, found her, wrote her a letter, wanted to meet her on the day she gave me up. So I go down to Plantation, Florida, and I meet this woman. And I said to her, well, what did I look like as a baby? And this is what I do for a life. And this is what I do for a living. So this one lady said, so this woman, her name is Martha, who's my biological mother, and I'm her only child. And I said, what did I look like as a baby? And did you ever think about me on my birthday? Because I went to see her on my birthday as a gift to myself. And she said, I never thought about you, not really. And I didn't look at you or touch you when I left you at the hospital. And I'm thinking like, okay, because you were going to get attached. And she said, no. She said, because you're Black. And I'm thinking, whoa, wait a minute. Well, I know she touched somebody, but anyway, that's not about what we're talking about. They were talking about peace here on this day. And I says, well, and she said, no, I made a mistake, and this is what happened. I came to Detroit and blah, blah, blah. So fast forward, and she told me that she was racist. And I was like, oh my God. So I left Plantation, Florida. And I said, what am I going to do, God? And I said, you know what? What was prescribed for me, I am going to prescribe for her. Peace and love. So it took years. So I would send her things on love and on peace and everything for years and years and years. And then finally, we became closer. And then when she got sick, I ended up taking care of her and talking to her a lot and inviting her to my home and everything. And then she got sick and had cancer. And so I drove to Buffalo, New York, is where she passed. So one morning I just drove there and I just talked to her, and I broke her down with love. And that's why love, as I mentioned, let obstacles vanish effortlessly. So I loved her. And her last words before she passed away was, I love you. And that was all I needed to hear. And she did. And I gave her eulogy in Buffalo, New York, right after that shooting. And we donated money to the families in her name. And I talked to the whole congregation about what love stands for. So I use love as not to how to overcome obstacles, how to break down barriers. You can break down barriers with love and with peace. And I know I don't have that much time, but this is what I teach our youth: financial literacy. We talk about financial peace and about serving and about planting financial seeds of hope and love all over the world. We went to South Africa. We planted seeds of hope and love. We went to Jamaica. We went to different places, and this is what we do as a community. And I just want to end with just saying just a few words. And that is, of course, blessed is the peacemaker. But peacemakers, they all have one thing in common. They all drink, they all steal, they all swear, and they all lie. They drink from the everlasting cup every single day of their life. They steal a moment of time to help someone else out that's in worse shape than they're in. They swear to be a better person than they were yesterday. And they lie down and they thank God every single night. And that's what they have in common as a peacemaker. And I just want to say thank you to everyone on here that is actually just changing the world just one moment at a time with love and peace. And I'm so honored to be here today. So thank you so much. And Sabine, I have a gift for you, and I can't wait to get it to you. So thank you so much for this honor. I love you, and thank you.
Wow. Wow. That is such a special testimony, Gail. I teared up. And actually, the pleasure is all of ours to honor you and just the incredible life you continue to live. Our founder, Mother Moon, says that true love is giving and giving some more, and forgetting that you give and continuing to give. And that is your heart, is there's this everlasting fountain of giving. And it's just so beautiful to hear you, to share your immensely personal story, but to see how you are transforming so many young lives and you are planting those seeds. It's just such a beautiful, an inspiring story that I hope that we can all just walk away with and think about doing as well in some little way in our own lives. So tonight, we would love to present you with the HerStory Award. This is, again, will be sent to you in the mail. So on behalf of President Kayleigh Moffitt and Vice President Katarina Connery, HerStory Award is proudly presented to Gail Perry Mason on this day, March 9th, 2024, in recognition of your unwavering commitment to financial literacy, community empowerment, and mentorship, transforming lives and inspiring others to lovingly reach new heights of success. We honor you as a peace leader who lives by the logic of love. Thank you so much, Gail, for your just amazing life story.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have one more incredible woman I want to introduce you to this evening, and her name is Dr. Annalisa Eustace. Dr. Annalisa is a highly experienced clinician with a wealth of expertise in substance abuse and mental health settings, boasting over 20 years of dedicated service in these areas. Her profound ability to connect with individuals from diverse backgrounds underscores her exceptional talent in building rapport and establishing trust. Raised in Trinidad and Tobago, her upbringing instilled in her a deep appreciation for the beauty of human interaction and the importance of nurturing hope in every individual, regardless of their creed or race. Her spiritual journey, which began at the age of 12 when she developed a profound connection with God, serves as the cornerstone of her work. Driven by a deep sense of purpose, Dr. Annalisa is passionate about creating environments conducive to self-discovery and self-compassion. Her approach focuses on empowering individuals to reconnect with their authentic selves, fostering boldness and fierceness to engage with the world from a place of empowerment. Annalisa remains dedicated to making a meaningful difference in the lives of her clients, helping them navigate their paths to healing and growth. Before we welcome Dr. Annalisa to the stage, I'd like to first bring up her nominator, Ms. Glenda Lambert, to give us a few words about Annalisa. Please welcome Glenda.
Okay, thank you so much for introducing me, but also at the same time, I'm so grateful listening to these incredible stories of my previous ladies here. Thank you so much. You know, you're part now of the HerStory Hall of Fame. And I tell you, it's truly a Hall of Fame. When you go into the website, you see all these beautiful stories and faces. It's like a Hall of Fame. So I'm so honored to be here, and gratitude is really flowing from my heart that I had the wonderful opportunity to nominate Dr. Annalisa Eustace to this HerStory Award. I have to say, there's so much that I want to share, but I know I only have 2 minutes, so I'm going to kind of have to keep it short. One thing I want to share with you is that Dr. Anna is a remarkable, vivacious, intelligent, compassionate, living life to the fullest, and a bright woman of this time. She was introduced by me by Dr. Stefan Berg and also a very good friend, Diane Hickler. You know, we really were so happy to get to know her. She has an incredible job because she worked with women of diverse backgrounds who are really struggling with addictions. So it's almost like she's a bridge to bring God's love to those who have given up. What she does is she enhances their life so that they at least can remove the void that is in their heart, and she can fill it up with that love, but also her love and compassion to really, really see these women move further in their life and to become less dependent on on the organizations or the state or whatever, but that through that they can really become whole women. So I'm so, so proud in what she's doing. And I'm sure she might be sharing with you a little bit more. This is her gift, to work with women, empower them, show them compassion, God's love, just like my previous sister was talking about. And most of all, she really, really gives everything that she has within herself. Even though she was working full time, she still managed to get a PhD degree. And she just got her degree January 2024. So it's so excited for her to even do more stuff, because usually when you have a PhD, you can kind of reach higher levels, I feel. But I'm so grateful and so honored that she has been chosen to receive this nomination and this award. But most of all, I'm grateful to the Global Women's Peace team. They're doing an exceptional job, and I am so grateful that they picked her out. I'm so emotional because I'm trying to keep it contained. But I'm just want to let you know she's now part of our HerStory Hall of Fame, just like all the previous ladies. And with that, I want to present this wonderful sister to my global family here online. Thank you so much. And there you go, Anna. Congratulations.
Thank you, Glenda. Thank you for honoring me this way. Thank you, Federation, for honoring me as well with this award. And I honor you, my previous sisters, Laura and Gail, for the work that you do for peace, for the work that you do simply being human. My story is one of bliss, if you will. I grew up in Tobago, and it was my grandmother's dream. This started as her dream. Her dream was for me to become a doctor. And when I left my country back in 1994, I was praying very hard not to leave because I wanted Jesus to come back first, so I would not have to come to this country, which I thought was the den of hell. And I came here and realized we're all human beings and we're all seeking a better life, however we define that. In finishing school, I moved to Arizona, and what I learned, even in those years, this faith at the 12-year-old that was given to me to believe that Jesus was the answer one and to believe that with God, all things were possible, has been the source of my continued endurance and perseverance. And in my work, it started as I was 12, 13 years old when I said to God, I want to build self-esteem in women. I have no idea what that would look like when I was 13 years old. And now I'm still doing that work, 30 or more years later. It is the core of the work in substance use recovery. Who are you really? Not what somebody else has called you, what a situation has defined you as, but who are you really before the drugs, before the trauma? Who have you been through all of this? The authentic self of you as being loved by Creator God, has been spoken into existence, being formed and having a destiny for you. And how do I help women get back to that remembering of who they've always been, as powerful, as creative, as valued? I think it was Gail who used this word too, that you have value beyond your physical body and that you are not a transaction waiting to happen. And so the work of rebuilding is couched in that idea of personal peace. Because when I know who I am and I am at peace with myself, then I can navigate all of the circumstances of this world. And on this journey, so there's growth, then there's some setback, there's growth, and remembering, I think, is the word I want to use. Remember who you are. Remember who you have always been throughout all of the transitions in your life, that as we excavate to this authentic path of yourself, that this part is true, this part is good, this part is worthy of notice, of being seen, and affirm who you are. And as they become imparted, it's beautiful to watch. I like to say that my role is I have a front row seat to transformation happening. You know, you watch them go through the chrysalis, the maggot stage, and then the emerge through the cocoon. And yes, it's pressure, as some beautiful butterflies that can then fly to wherever they wish to go, as high as they want, as wide as they go. And as we walk through this journey, you know, sometimes we, as the helpers, the promoters, the peace builders, we can get weary. And I'm grateful that I always have my faith to fall back to, my faith to say, okay, Annalisa, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Grace is sufficient. It's more than enough for everything that I need. And this journey took 11 years for this final degree. And, you know, Glenda has done this beautiful honoring of me, and it has been the support of woman, my mother. And I remember my grandmother's dream. And so that too has been a support along the way. And I talk about, you know, Glenda has called and prayed with me. I've sat in her kitchen for company to do the work that I've needed to do. And so I had both the spiritual support and the physical support. And so even in this, I honor all of my cheerleaders at work, at home, and all spread throughout the whole land. And even in the spirit realm, where I remember the voice of my grandmother, the voice of my now deceased younger brother, and those who have been taken from this, who have died, who have transitioned, to remember that this work is not just about a piece of paper. It's about a work, as now I'm an international psychologist, to build bridges of peace in communities, to rebuild communities after there has been trauma and conflict. And I love the intro today where you talk about transforming communities. So that's what I want to do with this now PhD in international psychology, to transform communities where I go, within, again, the premise of peace. And I think I want to steal from you, Gail, this idea of creating rooms of love and peace where it fosters health and growth in people. And one of my dreams is to open orphanages. Do not ask me where yet, I do not know. But I want to create that home for children who do not have mothers and fathers, children who have been forsaken. And I think back to where the Bible talks about, when my father and mother have forsaken me, the Lord will pick me up. And I want to be one of those who picks people up who have been forsaken. That's one of the dreams. I thank you so much again for this honor. And I honor you for honoring me. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Annalisa. I am truly humbled, honestly. This has been an incredible ceremony. Like President Keeley had kind of foresaw in the beginning, right? She introduced that this is extra special because we are celebrating Women's History Month, International Women's Day, and you guys are the icing for me when it comes to this month of, wow, I am just blown away out of the water. Thank you so much for your incredible inspiration and what you do to continue to build bridges of peace in your community. I love that we can inspire each other, right? And just continue to grow these amazing, incredible environments that foster in peace and foster in love and build those seeds. It's just so beautiful. And so with that, I would love to present you Dr. Annalisa with the HerStory Award on behalf of President Kayleigh Moffitt and our Vice President, Katarina Connery. Your HerStory Award proudly presented to Dr. Annalisa Eustace on this day, March 9th, 2024, in recognition of your passionate service to support self-discovery, self-compassion, and reconciliation, empowering women to live their most fulfilled and empowered lives. We honor you as a peace leader who lives by the logic of love. Thank you so much. You will be getting that in the mail. And before we head out, thank you once again to all of you who have spent a little over a little under an hour with us. I just have a few announcements to make. If you love what has happened this evening, if you want to become a part of this incredible environment and learn more about what we do here in Global Women's Peace Network, I invite you to become a member. The link for membership will be in the chat box. But if you are a member, you'll get invited to become a participant in these webinars that we have monthly. So our next webinar is later this month. It's on March 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time with the topic Embracing Womanhood, the Final Frontier. And let me just tell you, I'm super excited about this one because we're really going to dive into what are those special, unique qualities about women? How do we usher in those unique qualities in building these bridges of peace, in building harmony? And how do we cultivate more of that? How do we empower and equip other women to follow suit and build just this world of peace and love that we have so much talked about this evening? If you want to nominate someone, if you were inspired and someone popped into your head and you want to nominate another individual for her story event in the future, the link for that will also be in the chat. Glenda, I'm going to steal your Her Story Hall of Fame. I love that. I'm going to mention that every single time now, because yes, it is a Her Story Hall of Fame. If you do visit our website, you will see all of the amazing, awe-inspiring women that we have honored on a monthly basis. So again, too, the women that we honored this evening, you will be able to find your portion of your speech tonight. So feel free to upload that on your websites, to share that as well. I know that's really important and it should be up soon. Again, thank you so much to all the nominators, to the nominees, the awardees this evening. I just want to send God's blessing to you and continue to cultivate and propagate this era of peace and love. And I so appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And I hope to see you soon. Have a good night.